Well guys, honestly I cannot believe I'm making this video, I really cannot. After only about 4 months since the breach on the Bridgewater Canal that we all of course know about, there's been another breach on the Macclesfield now. I just cannot believe it. But the craziest thing about it is I sort of predicted it was going to happen. Well, anyone in the right mind probably could have predicted. And all I said in the video was, when we came through, I'll play the clip now.
So just about here, a culvert actually runs underneath the canal, but it's been leaking heavily. So they did some temporary repairs on it in October. They then commenced on a better temporary solution on the 19th of November that lasted for about 2 weeks. There was a large void that they needed to fill in with clay, and then they just sprayed a load of concrete over the top of it, which was to act as a temporary seal. You see, they had to do this because it could have quite easily turned into a breach like it did on the Lancaster Canal. The exact same thing happened. Possibly could have been one of the reasons why it happened on the Bridgewater Canal. They can't properly repair it until 2026 or 2027. Bloody hell. This was just one of the many problems at the moment on the Macclesfield Canal, and it's had in the recent years. I mean, it's not been very good on this canal lately.
Yeah, that was in vlog 511 when we came through Bosley Locks, and I seen this bit of cement and I thought, that's a bit weird. And I looked on the stoppages and I've seen that there was a leak there. And so it's been leaking there for ages, and the CRT weren't going to repair it until 2026 or 2027, which is absolutely crazy. I said that in the video, and then here we are. It breached. It collapsed because they didn't repair it. And so I'm stuck down here in Northamptonshire near Daventry. I have no way of getting up there at the moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Dad to come back tonight because I have no car. Mum's not here. She's taking the train down to see Luke, my brother, for Mother's Day, and I'm here on my own, and Dad's not going to be coming back till Sunday night. And so I'm going to get Dad to come back tonight, and then me and Dad, I'm going to drop Dad at work, and then I'm going to go up to there, the Macclesfield. I'm going to ignore that sound, it's the cat. And then I'm going to go onto the Macclesfield. I'm going to make a video on it. My internet's terrible here. Absolutely god awful. And I only came to know about this thanks to a subscriber messaged me this morning, and then I seen another subscriber after I just did a 5-mile walk, and I was talking to him, and he showed me a video of it, and wow, it's nowhere near as bad as the Bridgewater, but it is a big breach. It's as big as the one in the Lancaster that's only just been repaired now. The Macclesfield Canal was the alternative up north and south. Now there is only one other route that you can take. So there was 2 routes, technically 3, on the west side. Both of the routes are now got a breach on them, and they're going to be closed for at least a year, the Macclesfield one, I imagine, judging by what happened on the Lancaster. And obviously the Bridgewater. But then you've got, the only other way is the crossing from Ellesmere Port to Liverpool via the River Mersey, which is not for everyone, of course, and it costs money, and it does take a lot of planning and the right weather. There's one other route now, and that is the River Trent. Now that's alright, but the 62-foot plus boats, there's no crossing the Pennines anymore. If your boat is longer than 62 foot, you cannot get across the Leeds and Liverpool, the Rochdale, Huddersfield Narrow. So there's no way of getting north to south now, for people like us. If your boat is lucky enough to be 62 foot, then you're fine. You can still get there. You just take the Trent, which is not going to be available all year round like the Macclesfield and the Bridgewater Canal, because it's a river. So it's only about 6 months of the year you're going to be able to do it now. So practically the whole network has been split in 2 now. So yeah, things are not looking good at all for the canal network.
Well, the next day, and I made it. I found a way, and straight away I went up and flew my drone, expecting to be able to make it all the way to the breach, but I didn't get far because the wind was so powerful. It was actually borderline too windy to fly a Maverick Mini, so I didn't fly it far. But what I saw was quite shocking actually. Some stuff definitely went down here as the breach occurred. There was quite a few moored boats along this section, private moored boats, but a lot of them were moored past the bridge where the stop planks needed to go, so they had to get pulled through the bridge before they could put the stop planks in. Thankfully all of them did, but it's not a pretty sight now. There's boats everywhere. Well, here we are guys at the top of Bosley Locks, and already I just found the drone, but it's so windy. I couldn't even make it to the beach itself. I couldn't even fight against the wind, so I'm gonna have to walk down there and then I'll fly the drone. But yeah, absolutely lovely here it is at Bosley. Such a beautiful canal, the Macclesfield is, and now it's yeah, gonna be shut for probably a year. And yeah, as soon as I got here, it looks like there's chaos ensued after the breach. All the boats that are moored down there have had to reverse back through the bridge and double breast with the other boats that are moored here, because there's private moorings just through the next bridge. I'm really tired. I had 5 hours sleep because the clocks went forward, didn't they? So me and Dad had to get up really early, about 7:30, so we're in about 5 hours sleep, and then we drove to Dad's work. I dropped him off, then I drove, well that was an hour and a half, then I drove an hour and a half to here. Most of the bridges on here will have stop planks, but unfortunately there wasn't a bridge between the private moorings here and the breach, or the next bridge. Wow. I knew the Macclesfield was shallow, but now I know how shallow it is. So it's actually quite notorious here. Because there's a long line of private moored boats, and there's only about 2 places to moor up for the locks. So in the summer it can get a bit hectic. But I don't know what all these people are going to do now. Or that, you know, they're paying for these private moorings, and now they haven't got them. And yeah, they probably could. The CRT probably will let them just breast up down there, but not a lot of them would want to. I wouldn't want to. I mean, they had to move their boat so fast they didn't have time to collect any of their bird feeders or their bags of coal. Wow. And it's just lucky that there was, you know, no boats left behind. It's the overflow weir. Should be back now. Another one. Just when they're about to start laying eggs and breeding. Or ducks. Weird that, isn't it? Because boats don't use tires. But this is quite a popular place to moor here, because it's street piling, of course, so it's easy. You put your chains in, or you put your nappy bin in, and you can't moor down there, so after you come through Bosley Locks, you stop here. But again, luckily, I don't think there's any boats moored here. Now, don't expect the Bridgewater level breach, because it's nothing like that. It is a breach, but you've got to compare it more to the Lancaster breach that happened last year. Who could have guessed? Yeah. It's happened exactly where they did a little botched repair. Now, I'm not bashing the CRT, I'm not. It's not their fault. They don't have any funding. So it's the government, really. They need to give them more funding to look after our heritage. And look what's happened again.
Honestly, after what happened on the Bridgewater Canal, the CRT should have been like, oh crap, this is going to happen to the Macclesfield above Bosley Locks if we don't quickly repair it. It was winter. They could have just done a winter stoppage. There was loads of winter stoppages along the Macclesfield. But no, they didn't. They just said, oh, we'll leave it till 2026 or 2027. I thought, Jesus, how is that leak, that bodged job, going to hold up until then? I'm sorry, it ran over. You can see where they've tried to fill it with clay. I think first it started showing up on the towpath here, and it is sheet piled, but the piles don't go deep enough.
You'll see that the drone is violently shaking. Now it shouldn't be doing this. It has a gimbal, but the gimbal's getting blown by such strong wind it cannot be stable. I'm sorry, but I never fly my drone in this wind. This is why you haven't seen it before like this. But unfortunately, I've got to work with what I've got today, as obviously this is my only opportunity. But yeah, I didn't fly far, of course, because it is just too windy today. But now we can get a closer look at the actual breach. And as you can see, water has been running underneath the side of the bank here, and it's just slowly washed it away until kaput. It all went and it collapsed. It's honestly not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's still pretty bad. I didn't know this at the time, but as you can see, there's a little indentation in the land where the water's running down. It's almost like there already was a brook there, and there was. A little brook does actually go under the canal here, and this culvert leaking is possibly what caused the breach, much like what might have caused the breach on the Bridgewater. So thankfully the excess water did not flood the field, it actually went down the little brook, which obviously carried the water to the next biggest river. So something quite interesting happened on the walk back to the car. I actually bumped into a guy who works with the CRT doing maintenance on the canals. Now, what's funny is there's actually a workboat not far from here at the next swing bridge, which has been out of action for ages as well. And it has a crane fitted on it, perfect for putting clay back in the void. And him and his team were asked to fill in the void when it first started with clay. But they didn't find the source of the leak. The CRT, I guess, didn't want them to, because it would cost more money, I suppose. And the guy said to them that it was gonna go again, and it did. So this time what needs to happen really is they need to find the source of the leak first, repair that, and then fill it in again. That was one of the toughest drone flights I've ever done. Didn't fly far away. Otherwise I would not be able to get the drone back. It wouldn't be able to fly against the wind. Now there's a bridge down here. Now this theoretically should be where the stop plank should be, but we'll see. They did put stop planks in here, but the next pound is really, really low. So they didn't really act very fast, I don't think, as most of that pound is drained. I wonder if there's stop planks at the next bridge. It's not too far further round. Looks like they've had to do some sawing here. So they've chopped off bits of stop plank. Do you reckon that they were too long? They weren't the correct fit? Just was recognised by a fisherman who obviously seen me from the Bridgewater breach, and he's just said there's a lot of fish still in here, a lot of bream. Oh yeah, I can just about see them.
At the local club or CRT need to save these fish. It's funny because Johnny Vegas, Joe, actually did come this way, but he narrowly missed this. Luckily he was moving fast, and he did get his boat repaired. I think he left a couple of days after we passed him in Middlewich. But he's on the Rochdale now, so lucky old Joe. God, I can imagine him being more out there. Oh yeah, Josh, yeah, been caught up in another breach. Bloody hell. I can't do Yorkshire accent. You see, this is why stop planks need to be maintained. You never know, especially when there's a leak and you probably do know it's going to breach at some point. But looks like they had some which weren't rotten. Thank God it's not affected those boats through there. God, I was tripped up then. Yeah, it's not affected those boats. There's a line of private moored boats through there, and thankfully it hasn't affected them. So yeah, no boats affected, which is a really good thing. Because, well, maybe a bad thing, because the CRT don't have to rush to do anything now. See, if there was a boat trapped here, they would have to, you know, actually get them off, which would put pressure on them, but no boats are here, so they'll take their time now. Just as they finished Lancaster one, they got to come do this now. Anyway, gonna go back to the car now, edit this video and upload it. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one, which will probably be an update on the Bridgewater Canal breach. So yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's go.